Namaste! Story time. 13th April 1919. All of us know. All of us have answered that one mark question at least once in our primary or high school. What happened on 13th April 1919? जलियांवाला बाग ट्रेजेडी. जलियांवाला बाग को देखो यहीं चली थी गोलियां. ये मत पूछो किसने खेली यहाँ खून की होलियां. So we all remember that. It was a standard one mark question. It was the day of Baisakhi and peaceful protesters had gathered at Jallianwala Bagh. The Bagh is cordoned off on three sides. There is only one very narrow point of entry and exit. And while speeches were being given against the Rowlatt Act, and there were, approximately 3,000 to 4,000 people gathered there, General Reginald Dyer entered, started shooting indiscriminately, depending upon which version you believe. Anywhere between 800 to 1,500 people died. Some of them fell into the well over there. That well is still there. The bullet marks on the walls are still there. And a greater number of people were injured. Then what happened? After all this, what happened? General Dyer was called, and no, he was not censured. He was not removed from the job. In fact, he went on to be brigadier. And when asked, do you have any remorse? There were women and children in the crowd. They were unarmed. They were a group of peaceful protesters. Do you have even, rai jitni, til jitni? Do you have even a little bit of remorse in your heart? And he said, no, absolutely not. I have no remorse. And if I have to do it again, I'll do it again. Gladly, I will shoot at these brown Indians all over again, gladly. Those were his words. What was the reaction of Mahatma Gandhi to Jallianwala Bagh? Mahatma Gandhi replied that it was an unfortunate incident, but he said that General Dyer had killed or shot just a few bodies. Mahatma Gandhi went on to say that in the name of Ahimsa, he forgives General Dyer. And he said, if General Dyer is injured in this whole shootout, if General Dyer has suffered any injuries, I am willing to personally nurse him back to health. General Dyer को कुछ हो गया है क्या? मैं स्वयं General Dyer का इलाज करूंगा. I forgive Dyer and I am willing to nurse him back to health. In the name of Ahimsa, I have no resentment towards General Dyer. Those were Mahatma Gandhi's exact words. You can Google it. Many, many, many people were hurt by Mahatma Gandhi forgiving General Dyer in the name of Ahimsa and offering to treat General Dyer in case he himself was injured. Amongst the many people who were upset were, of course, Bhagat Singh. We all know it. One other person who was deeply, deeply upset by these remarks was Sher-e Punjab Lala Lajpat Rai. Sher-e Punjab Lala Lajpat Rai had always respected and admired Gandhiji, but he just couldn't accept or bring himself to forgive General Dyer. How can you forgive a man like General Dyer? And you can't have it both ways. You can't say, I have utmost sympathy for the victims who died and I'm willing to forgive General Dyer and nurse him back to health. Pick your side. Either you have sympathy for the people who were shot at and who died, or you are forgiving the man who shot them and you want him to face some punishment. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, I have sympathy for this and this. Pick your side. So, in an interview that followed to a popular Hindi newspaper, Lala Lajpat Rai openly disagreed with Mahatma Gandhi. It was one of the rare occasions when Lala Lajpat Rai expressed openly his utter utter displeasure and disagreement with the Mahatma. So he said, you cannot forgive a man like Dyer. If he comes back, he is saying that I have committed no mistake, and if given the chance, I will come back and I will shoot some more people. If he actually comes back and shoots some more people, then whose fault is it? You forgive him, he comes back and he shoots some more people. Whose fault is it? And in the name of Ahimsa, you forgive General Dyer. Someday, eventually, after 3 years or 5 years or 2 decades or 1 century, someday General Dyer might have a change of heart. How many innocent people should die for one terrorist to ultimately have a change of heart? And is it worth it? Just so that one terrorist can someday have a change of heart, should you go on forgiving his sins? Don't the innocent victims have any right to live? If you should read that, it is still available on the net. In the end, Lala Lajpat Rai says this. There's an old Hindi proverb. There's an old Hindi saying. Lala Lajpat Rai quotes it, and he says, Kanyadan. Kanyadan karte samay, before doing the Kanyadan, we check 7 generations. The boy, his father, his grandfather, his uncles, his aunts, his property, his source of income, his mother, etc., etc., etc. Before giving Kanyadan, we check 7 generations. Kshama is also a dan. Kshama dan is a dan. Before giving Kshama dan, Kshama pradan kare. Before giving Kshama dan, you have to check with 70 people. You forgive an undeserving person, and that person comes back and commits an act of violence, then that sin is on the shoulders of the man who forgave the terrorist. Okay? October 2nd is around the corner. October 2nd is just a few days away. So today we have to ask ourselves the same question that Lala Lajpat Rai had once asked Mahatma Gandhi. You forgive a demon like General Dyer, he comes back and devours some more people, then whose fault is it? And how many innocent people should die before one terrorist has a change of heart? And you forgive somebody undeserving and he comes back and shoots some more people, then who should bear that sin? Okay? So remember, these are not my words. These are the words of Lala Lajpat Rai. Forgiveness, Kshamadhan is very, very sacred. Be very, very careful about whom you are forgiving. Okay? In the name of Ahimsa, don't go around forgiving anybody and everybody. There's a 99% chance that they will come back and shoot you. Thank you.